Hey guys, Zingus, and today I'm going to give you a full unboxing of the Elephone M3. Now, the funny thing is that before I got this phone from Gearbest, I was looking at loads and loads of different videos on YouTube of this phone, and honestly, I couldn't find a single decent video in English on this phone. So I really do hope that anyone that's looking for a good video, then this will deliver to you. I've got studio lights, so I'm going to ensure that the lighting is good, and also I've got a nice camera as well, and I've got a nice mic as well, so I'm hoping that you should be able to hear me really well and clear. So one thing I didn't like is that they have these annoying little tags on the side, sort of like tape, and it sort of ruins it because I actually always much prefer to keep the box of the phones and the products that I actually get. And unfortunately what it's left with is sort of this annoying mark. It's not terrible, but it just doesn't feel very premium, and the packaging itself isn't very premium as well. I guess it gives quite a nice sort of presentation in a way for the money. I got this for around £120 on a sort of sale in December, which is pretty good. And so far, you know, I've been really excited to actually get this phone and take a really good look at it and actually use it as my default phone. Originally I had the Lego Elite 5, and now I'm using the Elephone M3. So this has got a stunning 5.5 inch 1080p display, and actually also comes with Android 6 as well. As you can see, there is a startup guide, which is actually fairly nice and quite useful, but one thing that confused me is it didn't show how to actually put in the SIM card slot, and it actually also didn't show how to put in the expandable storage. One thing that really surprised me is that it actually comes with a really nice case, and this case actually has quite a cool feature. When you turn it on, it will adapt the display so it actually goes through only the whole of the case, and that is limited to time and things like alarm clocks. So carrying on with the unboxing, we actually also have a screen protector, but you don't need to worry about putting this on because there's already a screen protector on the phone, which is a really nice touch. And then even if you want to, you have a sort of screen cleaning cloth as well, which is a nice touch. And then lastly, we also have sort of some cables. This is a USB-C phone. This is one of the main reasons why I got it, and for the UK it comes sort of with this awkward adapter, but to be honest I don't need to worry about that because it's USB anyway. And then it also comes with a tiny little pin, which is for actually getting the SIM card slot out of the phone. There's no removable back, and you also can't take out the battery. And then the last thing is the USB-C cable, but luckily I already have some backups as well. But it's quite nice to have an extra one as well, and it's got a nice blue touch to it. So that is pretty much all of the unboxing. So one thing I actually forgot to mention is that the box actually comes with a UK power adapter. So of course if you're delivering this for the UK, then it will give you the right slots, and it's quite useful as well because it's got some other adapters as well. Personally I don't like using it because when you plug in the other European adapter it just feels awkward. I much prefer using sort of a regular USB adapter, but just to let you know, it does actually come with that, so you can use it with USB. So now taking a proper look at the phone, I personally think that this phone looks absolutely stunning, and for the money I actually think it's got a really great design. So it does actually come with two sort of pieces of plastic on the back, which is quite nice to protect it from dust and stuff, and it's also got some labeling. It does show you where the SIM card is, but it doesn't actually explain how to put in the expandable storage. You actually have to put it in sideways, which is a bit awkward. But then you've also got the option for a micro SIM as well, and of course it is unlocked. I use mine on ID Mobile and it works absolutely fine. This video is being recorded around a week and a half after actually unboxing this, and so far the experience has been absolutely fantastic. Of course I will have to wait for the full review to actually break down the phone and go through the pros and cons and stuff like that, but so far I've been really happy with it, and I think for the money it truly is an excellent phone. One thing I like is that not only is it durable, that it actually also has a metal design which actually feels quite nice in the hand. Of course it will be important to get a case. It's not that slippery, but the case that it comes with is quite textured, so that has never had a problem. And as I'm showing you right now, this is actually how to take out the SIM card slots, and also the slots for expandable storage as well. One thing I want to mention is that when you do put in expandable storage, format the SD card first, put the SD card in, and then boot it up. Don't put all your music and all your media on it first and then try to put it in, because it will ask you to format it, which is a little bit annoying. So what we'll try to do now is actually power up the device and give it a test. It's also quite exciting as well, because I've never used Android 6.0. I was stuck with Android 5 or my Elite 5, as it sort of refused to update. I don't think they intended to release and update it, but they did say on the GearBest website that they were going to give an update for this phone. So one thing I've definitely noticed with more budget Android phones, especially sort of budget phones from China, is that Android doesn't actually need to be set up. You don't have to go through that sort of annoying and slow process with adding a Google account. It just goes straight into it. And I guess that's actually really nice. For people that want to start all over again, or people that have never used Android, it can be a little bit confusing because you're sort of thrown straight into the operating system. But for people like me, it's really great because it puts you straight into the experience and you don't have to worry about setting up. So actually testing out the camera, I was actually quite happy with the picture quality. I think it was fairly nice, and of course the default aspect ratio is 4:3, but of course you can change it to 16:9. The only problem is that when you change the aspect ratio to 16.9, I believe it changes the megapixels down to 16. That's not too bad. And then we've also got a front-facing camera, which is 8 megapixels as well. So far, low light performance seems okay. Of course, on the display, it looks really nice. It's not too reflective. I think the viewing angles are quite good. And one thing as well is that just the general quality of the screen is really nice. It's vivid and bright, and colors look really nice as well. One thing that also surprised me is that actually how fast the fingerprint sensor was. I set it up straight away and it was lightning. On a regular basis, it's still literally less than a second to recognize, and it's incredibly accurate and it works really, really well. As you saw in the settings, it's also got some cool features like turbo download. So if you want to increase your download speed, you can actually combine both your Wi-Fi speed and also your 3G or 4G speed to boost it, which is cool and something I've seen on Samsung devices a couple of years ago, but it's cool to see that I've now got it. And as you can see, I've got loads of room left, and once I put in my expandable storage, I'll have loads left. And I have done that and it works really well. But again, I just want to remind you, if you are going to use expandable storage, and you probably will, put the SD card in first, sort of see how it recognizes it, and then take it out and put some stuff on it. And it's also quite nice because you have the option to choose whether the SD card is internal storage or as an actual expandable storage device. So if you do choose internal storage, it means you can't take it out and it will use it to actually help boot the phone, which will speed it up. One thing that was weird is that it said my SD card was slow even though I had a class 3 SanDisk Extreme card, so if it does say your SD card is slow, then I wouldn't worry about that. And as you can see, I'm setting up the fingerprint sensor now. The setup was really, really easy, and I'm really happy about this as well because I've always wanted fingerprint sensor on my phone. So it's cool to see that I can now get that feature in a budget phone. And as you can see, it's straightforward, it's not difficult, and with Android, it's really, really simple. So once we actually test it, I was just again amazed by how quick it was. It literally is less than a second, and as you can see, just have to put my finger on the back, and then it is literally instant. There is basically no delay, and also surprisingly, there's no lag as well. It does have 3 GB of RAM and also 32 GB of internal storage, and as I said, it's also got a fingerprint sensor, which is one of my favorite features so far, and I think it goes well with the phone because it has really thin bezels. So there is my full unboxing. I hope you really did enjoy it, and of course if you did find it helpful, then be sure to leave it with a thumbs up, and thanks very much for watching.